Yo, what up, what up, what up? Welcome back to another video. We back. Today this video is gonna be about how did I learn Spanish. I'm just walking around my hood, Real de Minas. Really ain't the hood, but anyway, let's get into it. Alright, y'all, now if I sound under the weather, if I sound sick, it's because I am. They done got the boy. Thank God it ain't no girl, you know what I mean. But man, all I know, I've been sneezing and coughing and sneezing. One time I sneezed and coughed at the same time. I ain't never did that before. Whole face went in shock. Them kids at my daughter's school done got her sick. My daughter got my wife sick. My wife got me sick. Look, and I tried to avoid it too. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. You know, but I only could stiff on my daughters for so long, you know. All right, first of all, what got me interested in learning the language? What got me interested in learning Spanish? To be honest, my friends, I had some Latino friends, and I guess seeing them switch from English to Spanish, I just thought it was mad cool, you know? And just being able to communicate, you know, in another language. Growing up, I never really thought it to be interesting. And you know, I've at least in Louisiana, I've been around Mexicans a couple of times, and it just never really clicked for me. It wasn't until really like I moved to Florida, and you know, y'all already know about Florida. It's, you know, full of Latinos, and I guess being around them and, you know, spending time around them, it's just like, I don't know, I was like, yo, Spanish sounds cool. I just knew it sounded awesome. Yeah, like, dang, this don't sound better than my language. So I think that's one of the things that got me interested. The second thing was like the fact that it could get me a job, you know, or, you know, get me more money at a job. Because I've been to various interviews, and one of the first questions was, do you speak Spanish? And I'd be like, nope. And I'm like, yo, I ain't about to get this job, you know. So just that thought, you know, being able to put it on a resume, being able to communicate with other people. So yeah, these are, you know, just a couple things that, you know, sparked my interest, you know. All right, now, when did I actually like really start learning Spanish? I started taking things serious back in the beginning of 2017, so around February, March. I really started taking it serious. And I started taking it serious for various reasons. I guess one was because of how much I procrastinated. I procrastinated Spanish, or at least learning it, for like 2 years. Like, just like, oh, I'm gonna do it on, and I never did it, you know. So I actually started taking things serious in the beginning of 2017, and you know, it was definitely a roller coaster. All right, let's talk about how did I learn. I didn't go to any Spanish institute or anything. I didn't study in any school. It was all self-taught, and you know, by the grace of God, like I said, I had Latino friends, so I was able to communicate with them. Along with, you know, I got a couple of grammar books. I used the internet a lot, and actually, there's 3 main apps that I've used that I'm still using. One is called Reverso Contexto. The other one is called SpanishDict, and the other one is called Hellotalk. Hellotalk is a language exchange. It's free app. Of course, if you they have some other features, so if you pay it, you get more features and you get more stuff. But overall, it's a free app, and I use the heck out of these 3 apps. And when I say they help me so much, I'm willing to testify for all 3. Like, definitely, they definitely can help you with it. You know, it depends on how you use them and how often you use them. Changing my phone also. I changed my phone settings into Spanish, which was annoying in the beginning, especially like when you in a rush, you gotta hurry up and do something. You like, oh snap, I don't even know what this say. So yeah, that's part of it. Actually, another thing, I took a trip to Costa Rica. I went to Costa Rica, and we didn't have we had a rent a car for like 2 days, but mainly we mainly walked around. And I was carrying around a little notepad like this. Everywhere we went, I would, jot stuff down, like anything, all the letreros, like all the like signs and posters, anything I didn't understand, I wrote it down. So if it was a 20-minute walk, I mean, it took us probably at least 30, 35, because I'm too busy, writing stuff down. And I can honestly say that, annoying as that was, being out there for like almost 3 weeks, annoying as that was, it really helped. Because all I did was go back to the, Airbnb, study, the things I jotted down. I could go back out the next day or 2 days later, pass the same signs, and like, okay, I know what this says, so on and so forth. I just work on memorizing. I really don't know how I forgot these 2, but YouTube and Netflix. YouTube, I just switched everything I like watching in English, and I switched it to Spanish. So I like watching sermons, Christian content, stuff like that. So I'll find Christian YouTubers that spoke Spanish, and if they had subtitles, I would use the subtitles. I would write down anything I didn't understand, and I also, use it to train my listening. YouTube, even today, even with English movies, I would use subtitles, Spanish subtitles, just in case, I can learn something new. But I would sit down and write down anything I didn't understand, or just look it up on my phone. But doing things like this definitely helped me. And if you just beginning and you're looking for a way to, begin learning Spanish, this is a good way, because you learn new verbs, nouns, and you see the sentence structure, and it can help you out with grammar. Now, I know y'all may be wondering, how do I even start learning Spanish? Like, how do we even start? Like, I got the, I have the interest, but how do I start? Like, how do I, what do I do first? And I'm thinking about, what did I do first? And the funny thing is, I started learning Spanish various times. There wasn't like a one time, like, okay, I'm about to learn Spanish, and I just kept going along with it. No, I like started like one day and stopped. And I started another time, 2 days. I went hard for 2 days, stopped. Actually, I don't like this app, Duolingo, personally. But it's not bad to start with, literally start with. I started with Duolingo. I did that probably for 4 days. And with me, what did I think, basically, I started taking phrases I wanted to be able to say in English. And I started going on Google Translate, which I think Reverso Contexto is better. And I started, just translating, writing down phrases. And when you write down phrases, you're going to see verbs. And then when you see these verbs, it's like, oh, snap, I got to conjugate these suckers. That part was annoying. But once you get the pattern, because it is a pattern, for most verbs, they have patterns as far as conjugating. So once you get the pattern, you're good. You just keep on, with a lot of repetition, a lot of practice, it's going to get easier and easier. And that's the same way in Portuguese, French, these things I'm learning. So I just started with writing down phrases, stuff I wanted to be able to say in Spanish, stuff that I could say in English, I wanted to be able to say in Spanish. So I just kept going along with that. And over time, I branched out to, getting a grammar book, learning more about the grammar, learning more vocab and nouns. Now, language learning, it can get boring, There's some boring aspects to it, at least there was for me, especially, learning the conjugations, the grammar. It was dreadful, but I knew I had to do it because I was like, my goal was to be able to say and express anything I can in my native language and be able to do it in Spanish. And so that was my whole idea. I didn't care about the whole scale, whether I was B1, C1, C2. I didn't care about that. All right, now, how long did it take? I know a lot of people be wondering, man, how long it took you to learn Spanish? Now, you got to understand, everybody is different, At least with me starting off, I was a little slow with mine. I was able to speak, decent after 9 months. After 9 months, I was able to speak pretty decent. I would say a year and a half, I definitely gained more confidence. I could definitely express basically almost anything I wanted. Now, there's definitely been some benefits, to learning Spanish. I'm gonna just name 3. The first one is what I already explained. Basically, the fact that I'm able to communicate with people. I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy conversating with people, and you really hit home when you speak in that language, knowing that the person knowing that you had to learn the language. So it's it hits home, Usually in the United States, when someone learns our language, come from the outside and learn our language, learn English, we don't really think like that, like, oh, they hitting home. No, we a lot of times we expect you to know our language, we expect you to speak our language, but when you take the time to learn their language, it's like, wow, it's a different mindset. Number 2, I would say it got me out of my own little world. What do I mean by that? When I just knew Spanish, so on and so forth, not Spanish. When I just knew English, I really didn't care about, learning a different language, even though I was, around other people that spoke different languages, I didn't really care about learning about anybody else's culture. I just cared about mine. So it got me out of my own little world. And I'm not saying you need to learn the language in order to be able to expand your mind, open your mind up. I'm not saying that at all, but at least for me, it definitely helped me. Number 3, I would say learning Spanish opened me up to learn other languages. By the grace of God, I could speak Portuguese. And right now, I'm at an institute learning French here in Boca de Manga. I may do a video on that one. So I can honestly say knowing Spanish definitely opened me up and helped me out learning these other languages. And the fact that they're Romance languages makes it easier too. Alright, y'all, there are 3 things I would like y'all to take away from this video. If you are desiring to learn Spanish, and these 3 things that I'm about to explain are the things that I've seen lack in people who I've met that wanted to learn Spanish or another language. Number 1 is the fear. Got to get rid of the fear. that slows a lot of people up. A lot of people worrying about, you know, what the next man is going to think about them, so on and so forth. Please, 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 please don't let this slow you down or stop you from learning the language. You're going to be in uncomfortable positions, but you know, you have to get over them, you know, and the more you get over them, the better you're going to get, the more confident you're going to get. Also, the last thing you want to say is that you didn't learn a language, or you take it forever to learn a language just because of what other people think about you, how they look at you, so on and so forth. Do not let that slow you down. I promise you, at the end of the day, you do not want to have that going through your mind, that, you know, as a reason for why you didn't learn a language or why you're not learning a language. Number two is the consistency. Have to be consistent. I've seen people, you know, they go hard for a week, 2 weeks, they just go hard for a month, you know, usually around New Year's, and then they just stop, you know. Consistency is very, very big when it comes to learning the language, and at least for me, it's something that you have to continually do every single day. Well, it depends on how fast you want to learn the language also. Number 3, I would say, is the motivation. I'm laughing because this dude, he literally parked his bike and he's just staring at me. Number 3 is the motivation. Excuse me. And you have to find a motivation. At least for me, the motivation was, after a few months of learning Spanish, my motivation was to move out of the country. I was like, yo, if I'm going on getting this language, yo, I could live out of the country. And so that thought, you know, motivated me. So just the thought of being in a position where I have to speak, you know, I have to defend my family, I have to understand somebody so I could be able to help them. These things motivated me in order, you know, to be consistent and to get rid of the fear, start worrying about what other people think about me, you know. So you have to find your motivation, whether it's you know, getting a specific job, or, you know, being able to communicate with your spouse. Whatever your motivation is, it's going to impact the first 2 things I named, which was getting rid of the fear and the consistency. And I believe if you do these 3 things, if you know, find that motivation also, like literally, I don't see why you can't learn, you know, any language you want. It's going to take time. You're going to be in uncomfortable positions, but you know what? That's part of life, you know. Learning a language is a humbling thing in general. So, hey, hopefully these things help. I'm gonna put those 3 apps that I named in the description. And if you have any questions, comments, you know where to leave them. I pray you have a good day. God bless. Take